Hello and welcome to The Nation. I'm RATNAM. As we step into 2025, the property market is on everyone's radar. It remains a critical area of interest for homeowners, investors, and industry stakeholders alike. With shifting market dynamics, economic influences, and emerging trends, many are asking what lies ahead for the property sector. Today, we look at what's in store for 2025. Sean Tan, who is a renowned YouTuber or property YouTuber. He's made a big name on YouTube and on social media just by giving people insights and his expertise without being biased. He joins us right here in the studios of Bernama at Jalan Wisma Bernama to talk about what's happening this year in 2025. Sean, thank you very much for taking time off to be with us right here on The Nation, on Bernama TV. Well, what's it like being a YouTuber doing property? I'd like to begin here.
Wow. You got me here?
Yeah. Okay. We got you here.
Yeah, so that's the cool part about social media right now. But it revolves around my interest all this while, which is real estate and property. So it allows me to do what I love, and people like to see what I do.
Right.
So that's a very good ikigai state for me.
Right. So, but before all this, top developers call our economic desk and say, "Who's this Sean guy?" It's always about credibility and what you know. Where are you coming from? What industry are you coming from?
So I graduated as an architecture student. So then I joined a property developer for about 6 years across 9 different departments. Then I was doing some digital marketing for real estate companies, selling projects to people who get ads on their social media. Then personally, I started investing when I was 23, which is like, very old already, like 13, 14 years ago. Yeah, and now I'm still holding them. And from there, then I truly experienced the benefit of holding properties for long. A lot of people say it's for the long term, right? But a lot of people didn't even hold or buy anything. So this is from a first person point of view, I get that. So as an investor, consumer, designer, architect, the person who runs the site. So I pour concrete before also. I know how floors are done. So that's my experience.
Right. But with what you do and with what you've seen, when you look at the property market, I'm sure you've seen the changes and how it's evolved so much. Now, let's take a look at 2024 and how do you think the market perform? I don't know if that's even a relevant question. Yeah.
A few perspectives. So I think it depends on which realm you're in, but from the realm that I'm in, it's hot. Like if you look into JPPH, the Q3 numbers have just came out. It's the highest transaction number for the past 10 years. But at the same time, on the street, people still feel like it's terrible. So it's a very contradicting kind of data and feel. But from my personal point of view, from my community of investors, year on year, our rental has increased like 22 to 28%. But a lot of people don't want to say that because it's always unpopular to say the market is good. But from a personal point of view, again, I've been in this industry for like 15 to 16 years already. This is the very first time I feel optimism in the market. Because I was in all the good times and bad times, but this is one of those very rare moments like, I think property is coming up.
So just by giving us the year-on-year results, 28%?
22 to 28.
22 to 28. It's good for some people, not good for others. Yeah. So for property owners, it's great.
Congratulations.
Yeah. For those who are wanting to obtain their first properties and those who are wanting to rent, not so good a market for them. So taking this into consideration, what does this mean for us in 2025?
So it depends on what hat you are wearing. If you're a first-time home buyer, then property prices are not going to be this good anymore. Because if you look into construction costs, it has increased about 28 to 30% year on year. Land in prime locations are getting scarce, so no more cheap land already. And what's left is only the revision of property price by the developers onto their products. So it will not. So now the only thing is that developers are still having some fear and trauma due to the COVID. They are still not confident on their pricing.
What you're saying is we still haven't come out of COVID.
Developers. So they are not as ambitious. They are not confident in their pricing for their latest product just yet. But if you look into JB's market right now, now people are lining up for new property launch again. it was a thing maybe 8 years ago. People line up under the rain just to get a check-in to buy a property.
Right. So this is happening. Why do you think this is happening? The push for the weekend from where it was to where it is now?
Many reasons, but now I think the push factor from foreigners, like our Singapore friends, our China friends, all coming in, the influx is real. Then the completion of infrastructure like RTS, like maybe the high-speed rail, hopefully it happens. Right. Then the ECRL, then LRTs in Penang, the crazy amount of highways in Klang Valley, all those are really pushing the property market forward.
So now let's talk about affordable housing. What's the take-up rate with regards to developers? Are they interested in it?
Affordable housing, it's not a choice for developers. It's imposed to them. And this is a not very popular thing to say. So because of affordable housing initiatives, it is indirectly or directly pushing the open market products higher. Because no one's going to make a loss by developing. But if it's for the right reason, I'm all for it. But what I don't like is a lot of people buying this affordable housing for investment purposes. That's not the main goal. So I do hope that the ministry, right, moving forward, can get a stronger, more stringent enforcement on who is qualified to buy all this affordable housing. Because if you look into the criteria, right, it's a 12,000 monthly income household that can qualify for affordable housing. Right. I don't even know make that much back then. So this is a very weird phenomenon, but definitely it's pushing the open market price higher.
Right. So there's a couple of things happening. Okay, the URA introduced by the Housing and Local Government, or KPKT, it aims to rejuvenate aging and dilapidated urban areas. You've heard of that, isn't it? So this will signal the potential to revitalize city centres. Do you think this will work? One, and the other one is the Housing Development Control and Licensing Act 118. Maybe explain that to us a little bit, because these are the big things in or the big ticket things in 2025.
So the redevelopment of urban areas, that I fully agree. But if you look into the Project River of Life kind of thing, didn't really work. And I think the complication here happens within the urban areas is the multiple ownership of old buildings. Last time you got 12 to 15 names under one SPA, right? Unless the government comes in with a compulsory acquisition act to get all this for urban rejuvenation, then I think it's good. If not, right, like look at Marchis Jamik, all the empty shop lots and commercial areas, right, all wasted. It's in the city center. So now what we see is suburbs are doing more popular than city center itself. And the jam is happening because of all these transfers of population. Then regarding the other act that is about the housing development, that one is way above my pay grade, so I shall not comment on that.
Right, so you're saying suburban areas are doing better than urban areas, and it's causing a massive traffic problem.
Yeah.
Now, what do we do to better the game for people who want to invest or stay within urban areas?
I always encourage my followers to rent where they stay, buy what they want to invest.
Rent what they run this by me again.
Rent where you want to stay, buy where you want to invest. Okay, it means that because the wrong move is to buy a home that's breaking the bank for a job that is temporary, right? Just because you are in KL for 4 years, right, doesn't mean you need to buy a home. Why don't you just rent first, while buying a location where the rental is high enough to cover your installment? That would be a better play. But it's against our romantic feeling as Asians towards our home. Right. We must have a home to raise a family and things like that. So we even have people buying a very nice home in Seremban at outskirts, right? And they travel to KL every day. Is it wrong? Not really, but it really depends on what you want.
Now, when you talk about properties, locations, which types of properties and locations are expected to do well this year, or at least from what you know?
It could JPPH. Capital appreciation, number one is always our Nasi Lemak property, terrace houses, individual title format. Those are doing really well. Second to it is apartments. So this one is no choice because people cannot buy high landed properties. But what I see is not doing well is all the mega big size homes, like the bungalows of maybe 8,000 square feet, 12,000 square feet. All those are suffering, especially if you are in the outskirts.
Right.
So,
but even if when you say that, the other thing that comes to mind is huge projects within the city, like the Puduraya development. Yeah, that has been abandoned for quite a while now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So abandoned, when we talk about projects like this, we need to talk about context. At that particular economic setting, what was the price per square feet like? And this usually happens when developers are over ambitious about their branding and their position. They overprice their property, thinking that the market will just absorb. So this is back to the number one point just now, where it's not there yet, meaning developers are still struggling with overhang that we have seen for the past 8 years, I think. But only for the past 8 months, we no longer see oversupply in media. It's now unaffordable. Youngsters cannot buy homes and things like that. So the entire narration changed. But how to revitalize it? Maybe you need a white knight that's appointed by the government.
Right. So if you look at it, I think it's a no-brainer when you want who you want to live in the city. You would like more younger people to live in the city because it needs vibrance for it to create more business. So going back to this whole Puduraya development or that project that has been stalled for a while, how do we bring to life projects of this nature moving into 2025? Because we're talking about a revitalization project within the city limits.
Only by like compulsory acquisition act like this can happen, meaning it needs to be from a higher level coming in, because it needs to settle themselves from a commercial point of view first. Like the current developer don't know how much they are losing. You need a third party to come and absorb the loss, which is wasting time and resources. Nobody with the right business mind, right, will come into this kind of play. Only the government can come in. So I think how to revitalize that. I think the government has been building a lot of affordable homes in the city. So there are a lot of options actually. So need not to only be around Pudujaya lah. Actually, you see the entire Cheras where they call the Little Shenzhen or Little Kowloon, right? Those are doing extremely well. The funny thing is, private developers can build at a price that is so competitive to government initiated projects. That's the part that I cannot crack. How can a private one with shareholders and things like that build a property that is a price almost the same when the land costs nothing to the government side? That should be the bigger question, not to take over these kind of things.
Right. If you're just joining us on the program, we're currently speaking to Sean Tan, who's a property YouTuber. Well, if you're asking this question, how do I get in touch with him? Just go to Mr. Google and type his name in SEAN space TAN, YouTuber, and you'll get everything he's doing. Now, let's talk about challenges buyers and investors might face in 2025. More importantly, buyers. Now, protection for buyers is one of the other questions. I know what better protections can we have for people who are buying homes, especially first-time home buyers. You buy a house and then you find out everything's fallen flat and there's no steam for you to carry on in life, because even your first acquisition project for your first property becomes a mess.
Yeah. I think the government has done their part in the HDA Act. So they protect you from the SPA point of view and things like that.
Right, okay. Just explain to us the HDA Act.
So HDA is an act, built to prevent housing projects being abandoned. So government will form a shared account with the developer to make sure that the developer do not simply spend their money, then complete the project. Then also the payment schedule in the SPA. It follows a fixed schedule, so you cannot again just misuse the funds for your own private reasons. With that, now getting the house is not a problem, but making the choice of purchase becomes the problem. And that's another unpopular opinion. That's why in my whole channel, right, I just want to make sure everybody gets this, is to make informed decision. Always choose to be informed. Don't blame the agent, blame the developer, blame everybody but yourself to make that purchase. And the weirdest thing about Malaysians is we look so much, right, into phones, bags, cars. So many reviews to buy one car. We know the product better than the salesperson, but never a property. So many of us buy properties, right, without even conducting site visits. That's the funniest thing ever. This is your biggest purchase in your life. And when you get the key, suddenly, why my rental so low? Hey, what's the renovation so high? Well, suddenly you are hit with all these questions, and that demotivates people. So that's why my platforms try to be that big brother kind of channel for you to ask me a lot of questions to prevent all this.
Right. So you're saying that most of us go out and purchase houses, but we don't go for a site visit. Now, what about those of us buying houses before they're built? Now, what site visit are you going to do?
At least you know what's around your site.
Right.
A lot of people are like, hey, I didn't know there was a cemetery next to my house. How can you not know? So that's the funniest thing. Oh, the highway next to my house very noisy. Hello. So, and these are the reasons, or these are the logics when developers do their pricing. Which view gets premium, which views get discounts. Usually it's all this that plays. And that's the main quality for real estate. It's finite. There's only one direction, one unit gets the view, that's it. But again, the sad truth is, how many Malaysians will buy property like one every year? Mostly lot. So it's going to be one or two only in their entire lifetime. So it's very hard to be experienced in home buying.
Right.
That's the challenge.
Now, okay, for first-time house buyers, let's talk about bank loans or financing. You know, how is that going to affect buyers this year? And is 2025 a good time for first-time buyers? There's two questions there. Yep. Okay.
Home buyers, congratulations. Now you are in a setting where government is trying to make you a homeowner. You cannot get loan. They push through SJKP to help you get loan. You got 100% loan kind of financing. It's a wonderland if you're a first-time home buyer. But when it comes to unaffordable housing prices, the first person to be blamed is always property investors like us. And those are always where people hate the most. So they want you to try to curb all the speculative activities, like the recent refinancing scheme where you can only take out 10 years instead of 35 years. That restricted a lot of things. So now or later, like now we got two 90% slots. Moving forward, I'm not surprised where it's only 90% left, one 90% slot left. And property investors will be like dinosaurs moving forward. But first-time home buyers, you better make sure you are one foot in the game.
So this is your year. What do you for a first-time home buyer? That's what we're talking about. But what should they know about banks and interest at this point?
That's not the main criteria. So personally, in my channel, I got 4 main steps. I call it the Sean 4 basic step. First, get your intent right. Is it for investment or is it for own stay? Because the entire consideration is very different. Second thing, go find out how much you are eligible in terms of loan. Don't go around buta just because they ask you to try loan, you put the booking. Shouldn't be that way, right? Then when you know how much you are qualified, go visit about 20 different properties around that range. Is it a high rise? Is it a landed? Is it far away? Is it close? Then only you make that informed decision. Don't play blame game. Have full accountability of your decision. That's how the 4 basic step is arranged in that way.
Right, so here's another thing, and I digress yet again because you've given us information we need about that. Transport-oriented development. That's the new thing. And is it the new thing?
No, it's not.
It's not the new thing. Why do you say that?
It has been around because I was in the development scene before. So when
but we're pushing a lot for it now, isn't it?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really. Like TOD has been a thing when MRT becomes a topic. When LRT, like the Kelana line and the Putra line and the other line called what? I forgot which line it is. When that happened, everybody witnessed the growth and convenience it can bring. So why not make a project that is connected to it? That's how TOD becomes a big play. So like now, I'm all for it. But if you're trying to make money off TODs, it's a whole separate topic altogether. But it definitely adds convenience and makes your life really easy for transportation.
Right. Now, having said that, when you talk about TODs, of course, the next big thing is smart homes and eco-friendly properties. Is this something first-time buyers should consider or think about, especially young people who want their goals attached to something which is bigger than themselves?
Yeah. Smart home, until now, if you consider Alexa homes, like those Google homes kind of devices, smart, I don't think so. It's just a mere replacement for a switch. So, but eco-friendly buildings definitely, and it has been in my syllabus for architecture where rain harvesting tanks, orientation, north-south orientations to save energy, all this will reduce the maintenance fee for the management. That's very important. But back to the 4 basic steps, right? It depends on what's your intent and what's your loan eligibility first. Get what's the best within your budget range. And back again to the first point is, if you have, let's say you can only qualify for 400,000, don't buy a home just yet. Buy an investment unit where the renter can cover installment. Rent somewhere first so you can build your wealth. But in this context, it's still youngsters, first-time home buyers. If you are already pulling off in the industry for very long, maybe you should get a home. So again, 400,000, you want to get landed. Where can you get landed at this budget? So it's a consideration of a lot of other things. Smart home, I think it's your 7th criteria. It's number 7. It's not even in the list.
Not even the list yet, the list, for Malaysians at least.
Yeah. Would you buy a project just because it's smart? Nah.
Yeah, even with cars, that seems to be a problem.
Yeah, totally.
So having said that, we've got a lot of malls. I mean, Dubai's got a lot of malls, so does KL. I think KL has more malls than Dubai now. So I think one of the bigger problems are suburban malls, like say where I live near around Curve. They don't have enough people or enough of a volume of people coming into these malls, and that's because people can't afford to buy houses surrounding these malls. Do you see a sort of a synergy where these developers can work with malls to make it a lot more better?
I think first it needs to, we go back to the most important thing is the ownership of the mall. Like a successful model is like Sunway. In Sunway City, where you have the pyramid, you have the office tower, you have homes, you have lagoons.
Don't you think Bandar Utama is another successful one?
Yeah, I'm not making a list, but suddenly become very...
Okay.
Yeah, so that's...
Always want to make lists.
Just because, so you have a sample of these successful ones, but if you look into other smaller ones, not necessarily the scale makes it good or bad. It's always the ownership. So the first criteria for malls is the entire mall one owner, or is it multiple owners? So when you have multiple stakeholders, right, it's very hard to pull off the mall, because who's going to bear the budget, who's going to move the marketing campaigns forward and things like that. Those are the major things. And not only we have too many malls, I think a lot of malls don't have identity, and they are not shift across the time. But the good thing is we have seen a lot of empty malls that turn into pickleball courts. So maybe that's one very recent phenomenon.
Pickleball, terbaru. So now I guess the one simple question I want to shoot to you, we've got 2 minutes more and I'm going to let you say what you need to say, but will residential prices go up this year?
Confirm.
Okay. And how do you want to close this for us? I'm going to let you close this because it's the beginning of the year. And we've got Sean, the YouTuber, here. So you do your own shows too, and you can talk for an hour. So go ahead. We've got 2 minutes here.
Happy New Year, everybody. This year is going to be that year where property is going to be very exciting, right? But it still depends on making the informed decision by looking at the price. Entry price is everything. Whether the price you're paying, is it expensive or is it cheap? Okay, so that's the most important thing, and follow my channel.
So don't forget to follow his channel. Okay, if I go to your channel today, will I get free makan or something?
Oh, you get me as a contact, also very good already, right?
Okay, so just if you need to find out more, I mean, if you want to make a better decision in buying a home, go to Sean's YouTube channel. That's Sean Tan, SEAN space TAN. It's not SHAWN, but it's SEAN space TAN. And you'll get all the information you need about buying homes and anything to do with homes. Sean, it was a pleasure having you in the studio. Have a good year, and we'll see you mid-year to do a mid-year review.
Boleh.
Thank you very much for staying with us right here on The Nation. I'm GERARD Ratnam. This has been The Nation on Bernama TV. Stay on for more news. Bye-bye.